Joined by thought leaders and policy experts from across the world to engage in participatory debates. The 5th edition of the Kampala Geopolitics Conference is organized by Konrad Adenauer Stiftung, Makerere University, French Embassy in Uganda. The 5th edition of the Kampala Geopolitics Conference will be happening at the great institution of Makerere University. The Kampala Geopolitics Conference is a two-day academic event aimed at discussing current geopolitical questions and trends. Experts in Uganda will be joined by thought leaders and policy experts.
To endeavor to maintain the SOPs. It's quite a big room. Let's try to maintain those. And don't forget to greet your neighbors as well. So, ushers, please, wherever you are, guide our people to have some breakfast. I've been told the room is at the back. So give me the honors of actually standing.
Discussing current geopolitical questions and trends. Experts in Uganda will be joined by thought leaders. Great institution of Makerere University. The Kampala Geopolitics Conference is a two-day academic event aimed at discussing current geopolitical questions and trends. Experts in Uganda will be joined by thought leaders and policy agents. Is organized by Konrad.
Last was crisis and opportunity. Just to give you some background info, what is fired? No. This year, what is the most outstanding event of the international scene? That's from the Russian screen. And usually when I'm hosting, it's easier for me to host than when I'm moderating. Because moderating you have to really do a lot of reading as well. But I'm sure it's going to show up somewhere. Yeah, absolutely needed. No.
And it is really falling into this year's theme, which is bringing international debates on the African continent. I'm sure we're all aware of what is Twitter account, so you can follow some of these events there. And of course on NBS television, we'll be going live in a bit as well. And we'll have quite an interesting day. About 14 different panels, 13 are going to be in person, and the other one is going to be a Twitter space. So Let us continue to reflect on some of the things that we would like to see at the end of this conference. All you have to do is to note them down so that in case any of our speakers, touches on it, you are able to simply say, this is my question. Calling upon everyone to join us, because in a few minutes, I'll take the mantle and I'll ask that we sing the national anthem and also the East African anthem. So we are calling upon you to join us. If you're still having tea, please try to summarize that. And as vigilant, we'll also be looking at the role of the African Union in conflict resolution. In other words, to what extent can there be pan-African, efficient population growth management and reimagine? You need to reimagine Africa's higher education on the global scale. And here we'll be looking at of the innovations that we can be looking at for innovation and also transformation. So, ladies and gentlemen, please come back and let us get our conference started. Thank you to all our students of Makerere University for creating the time and being here on time. We are in your area code, so we appreciate you allowing us to be in your space once again this year. Do remember this is the 5th edition of the Kampala Geopolitics Conference, and you may be very well aware that this is a place where we talk about the issues that affect the African continent, but are mostly geared towards how are they being shaped by international events. So what is that international event in your mind, just to reflect, that you think of and say?
So implementation of sustainable, peaceful, and prosperous future for all. We are committed to building on these efforts to continue working for and with young people. I'd like to conclude by thanking our partners, the Embassy of France,
Thank you all for joining us this morning. In a special way, I welcome the new Ambassador of France to Uganda, Kampala, respectively. Thank you, our partners, for once again choosing to hold this landmark conference at Makerere University campus. That the conference kicked off yesterday evening on 2 fronts. The choice of the topic that tackled women's rights and holding the debate virtually, hence promoting the use of modern technologies.
Amazing. She's going to be putting in context issues around how the war has disrupted the global economy and indeed Africa, but also most importantly, how do we get out of this? May I also invite Professor Philip Kasaija Puli. Professor Philip is a professor of political science at the Department of Political Science.
Increasing commodity prices had also started to, in recent months, had started falling in response to the slower global activity, but also as energy prices, as you know, OPEC sometimes does its magic and the prices change. So it had, there had been some negotiations and the prices of oil had started coming down. But inflation had already, started building in many economies. And this has led to almost across the board monetary tightening, and that has several implications to the markets, to the access to finance, to the prices of...
to do with health. So take it away. You will invite your panel speakers.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Once again, my name is Walter Mwesije. I'm a journalist with NTV Uganda. Majorly reports about health and does the rest of the things as a by the way, or, as backup, really. So for today's conversation, we are going to be live on air and online And I have great speakers who are knowledgeable regarding matters to do with health. And I want to call Professor Christian Happy. He is the Center Director for the African Center of Excellence for Genomics and Infectious Diseases. Yeah, please, Professor Happy, if you are around, just come over to the stage or the podium. And we also have Dr. Louis Kamleger, the Projects and Research Manager at Rocket Health. You're welcome, Doctor. So for the next, now we've used up about 10 minutes, so for the next 70 minutes or less, we are going to be speaking matters to do with health. Now, we should have had the Minister for Health, Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, and the country representative, WHO, or World Health Organization, Dr. Jonas Tegen, and Laleng Mofokeng, the UN Special Rapporteur on Rights to Health in South Africa. All these are unable to join us today. The two, Dr. Jane and Dr. Jonas, were called for a meeting at the State House, so they couldn't be able to catch up with today's conversation. But as we wait for Professor Christian Happy, I will join Dr. Kamleger, and we shall start speaking matters to do with health. So, Doctor, just in case I have left out anything about you or your profile, please feel free to use about 1 or 2 minutes and say it.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. All protocol observed.